Hello, everyone. This is Stephanie Ponteau. Welcome back to English class. I'm so happy that you came back to class. I hope everyone is safe and well, and I hope you're not going too crazy being stuck at home for so long. I know it's been very challenging, but I am glad that you are taking the time out to continue practicing your English. So, as you all know, this is the Vision Church Level 2 English class, and today's lesson is the lesson for Monday, June 15th, and this is part 2 of our lesson. And we're on page 133 in your student book. But before you turn to the page, I want to do a little, I want to talk about there is, there are, there was, and there were. Okay? Now, if we were in class, I was going to use things in the classroom to ask you questions to practice using those phrases. But because we're not in the classroom, I'm going to use some Uno cards. You see, these Uno cards. Your kids might have the game of Uno at home. So, I'm going to ask you some questions, okay? So we're going to practice using there is and there are first, okay? So the question is, how many Uno cards do I have in my hand? And you would say, there are 3 Uno cards, right? There are 3 Uno cards in my hand, right? Okay. So my next question is, how many blue Uno cards are in my hand? How many blue Uno cards are in my hand? Yes, there is, because that's singular, right? 1 Uno card, 1 blue. There is 1 blue Uno card in my hands. Okay? So, there is and there are for present tense, things that are happening right now. Is you would use for singular if the thing you're talking about is singular. Are is for plural. Did you see that? When I said how many cards are in my hand, since there are multiple cards, it's plural, right? There are 3. So that's why we said there are 3 cards, 3 Uno cards in my hand. Then I asked how many blue Uno cards. There's only one Uno blue card, right? So that's singular. So you use there is. So there is 1 blue Uno card in my hand, and there are 3 Uno cards, right? Okay. So the other 2 is there was, there were. And yes, you're right. You use those for past tense. So now I'm going to ask you how many how many blue Uno cards did I have? Yes, there was 1 blue Uno card in my hands. I don't have the Uno cards in my hand anymore, right? So that's past tense. So there was and there were is to use for past tense. So there was 1 blue Uno card in my hand because I don't have it in my hand anymore. So it's in the past. There was 1 blue Uno card. And then the next question, how many Uno cards did I have in my hand? Remember, I had 3 cards altogether, right? So there were 3 Uno cards in my hand. Okay, so there is, there are is for the present, and there was, there were for the past. Singular is, are, plural was, were. Okay? And so this would be there were, oh, I should have wrote harder, 3 Uno cards. Okay? All right, so that was just a little warm up with there is, there are, there was, and there were. All right, so let's jump into our lesson. So go ahead and get your student book for me. Open it to page 133. All right, so on page 133, there is a QR code here for an animated grammar chart. I want you to pause the video and use the QR scanner on your phone and go ahead and scan and watch that. Those animated videos of the grammar are always, I find them to be very helpful, and I think you will too. So pause the video and go ahead and watch that. All right, now that you have watched the animated grammar chart, let's go on with the lesson, okay? All right. So you're going to use there is, there are in the present, and you're going to use there was, there were in the past, okay? Just like we did in the example with the Uno cards. All right, so let's look at, let's see. Let's look at the sentences over here. Exercise 2. Use there is, there are to say that something exists in the present time. Use there was, there were to say that something existed in the past. All right, so the present and past. So we got 2 sets of sentences here in our chart. So look at that, and I'm going to read through it. And so read it with me, okay? I'm going to go across, read the present sentence first, and then the past. There is a small cake on the table. There was a big cake on the table. There isn't any ice cream on the table. There wasn't any fruit on the table. Okay, so you can look at those 2 tables. This is pictures of a birthday party for someone in the past and a birthday party today, which is the present, right? Okay, so if we look at for there is, we would look at the picture for today, right? Because that's present. So look at today. There is a small cake on the table. Yep, it's a small yellow cake right there. All right, and there was a big cake on the table. So we're going to look back at the picture of 1985, which is the past, right? So it says there was a big cake on the table. And yes, that pink cake is very big, isn't it? She's going to have lots of cake left over. All right, so let's go to the next sentence. The second sentence in the chart. There isn't any ice cream on the table. So that's present tense. Yep, the today picture, there is no ice cream. All right, there wasn't any fruit on the table. So let's look at the 1985 picture. And nope, I don't see any fruits. Okay, the third sentence. There are 4 people at the party. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there are is present. There were 6 children at the party. So let's look at the picture of 1985 and see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, so I think this is an adult back there. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. There's 6 kids around the table. All right, so back to sentence number 4 in the present. There aren't any presents on the table. Nope, no presents on today's picture. And then for the past, there weren't any cards on the table. And if we look at the table, the picture for 1985, I don't see any cards on the table, just cake and presents, and maybe a birthday hat right there. Okay, so now exercise A, it says work with a partner. Look at the pictures. Identify the differences. All right. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. Okay. So we're looking for the differences in the two pictures. And some of them are already in our grammar chart in those sentences right there, right? But let's look at the picture some more. What do you see? Ah, I see one. There was a TV in the corner. You see that? There's a TV up there in the corner in the past. So, excuse me. So was is past and it's singular. All right? So that's one difference. What else do you see that's different? There is a whiteboard hanging on the wall. You see that in the today picture? There's a whiteboard hanging on the wall. So we say there is. So remember the difference. Is and are present, was and were are the past, okay? All right, so let's see. So let's look at the nouns in the grammar chart. Which nouns are singular or non-count? So cake is singular. That's in the first sentence. Ice cream is non-count. You can't really count ice cream. And then, let's see, and fruit. The word fruit by itself is non-count. You could be talking about one fruit on the table. You could be talking about many pieces. So it would be like non-count in that sentence. Now, if you said a piece of fruit, then that's singular. But if you just said there is fruit on the table, it could be one piece, it could be a bunch of pieces. So when you use it like that, it's considered non-count, non-counting. All right, so let's look at which nouns are plural. Okay, so those were either singular or non-counting. Which nouns are plural in these sentences? People is plural, right? That third sentence in the present. And then children, that third sentence in the past. People and children are plural, right? That means it's more than one. Presents is plural with the S on the end makes it plural. It's more than one present. And then cards is plural. That noun is plural. So that was just practicing deciding if a noun is singular, plural, or non-count. And definitely fruit is like one of those non-counting nouns. Unless you put a piece or a slice in front of the word fruit, you can't count it. All right, so let's see what else here. All right, so let's go on to, I think we found enough differences with exercise A, right? The TV was a difference. The whiteboard was a difference. Um, the number of children. Well, the fact that they're actually in the past, that's another huge difference. The present, there are no children. It's all adults, right? So that's probably the birthday girl Emily and her friends or coworkers. So there are no children today. In the past, there were 6 children. Okay, so that's a difference between the two pictures. So the TV, the whiteboard, the type of people that were at the party, and the other differences we already talked about. Oh, wait, I see one. There is a pitcher of water on the table, right? Yep, there is a pitcher of water. There wasn't any water on the table in the past. Okay, all right, so that's another difference. Oh, and look, we've got a cordless phone right back there. So that's another difference too. So, okay, all right, so let's go on to exercise B. Here again, work with a partner. So this was a partner exercise here. But unfortunately, we're not in class to work together. This would have been another fun exercise to do together. But let's see, exercise B, what does it say? Work with a partner, work with your partner. Talk about each difference and take turns. Okay, so yeah, we kind of did that already, but let me just read the example difference here. All right, it says, the cakes are different. There is a small cake on the table today. There wasn't a small cake in 1985. There was a big birthday cake. Okay. The people at the party are different. There are all adults at the party now. Yes, that's right. There were only 3 adults at the party in 1985, but they were mostly kids, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So I think that's about all we can do with that lesson. So that ends it for today's lesson. We're going to pick up with, our next class is a review. So we're going to start reviewing for Unit 9 and 10 because we are going to have our final test. Because this week is our last class and we're going to have our final test on Units 6 through 10. So our next classes will be reviewing. We're going to review Units 9 and 10 in the next class, and then the classes after that, we'll do a little bit more review and preparation for our final test, okay? All right, everyone. Thank you for coming to class. I hope that was helpful. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you in the next class. Bye.